Hi lovelies, and welcome back to the Janae community. My name's Leah.
My name's Tia.
We are mindset and manifestation coaches, and we are the co-founders and sisters behind the brand Janae.
If you're new here, on this channel we talk everything mindset, manifestation and so much more, and we help you rise and reach your truest potential by making manifestation a lifestyle. In this video, as you can see from the title, we're going to talk about how your relationship is a reflection of you and what that actually means, so stay tuned.
I'll be your light.
So let's talk about how your relationship is a reflection of you, and what do we mean by this? So the relationship you're having with people in your life is a direct reflection of the relationship you're having with yourself, basically. And we can look at this in a sense of how you think, feel and believe about yourself, what you hold in terms of your self-concept, your self-image and who you believe you are, also in relation to the different areas of your life. So for the purposes of this video, we're going to actually talk about in terms of romantic relationship. So let's look at your self-concept first of all. So if you're a person that struggles in relationship, we can kind of say there that you probably have a belief system stemming around relationships or men or relationships in general, and this usually is modelled from your early ages and your early life experience. So for example, if you've experienced abandonment and you experienced abandonment as a child, whether it was parent passing away or father being absent, or you experienced being in an unstable household or seeing parents argue a lot, or maybe your dad or mum cheated on each other, however it was, like sometimes you will make a belief system that says people will leave you, you're not chosen, you're not a priority, whatever it is, you'll have a self-concept around relationships not lasting and not being good for you. So that's kind of how you can look at your self-concept in relation to relationships.
Yeah, because what we always say is you get what you think, feel and believe. That everything in your life is a physical manifestation of the alignment of what you think, feel and believe. So like Leah, for example, if we were to give an analogy, like what she said, it's programmed into you from a young age. You grow up with a self-concept that believes, I can't trust men in relationships, men always cheat, based upon your old programming, exactly what she said. So if we were to give a specific analogy, say for a woman that grows up thinking she can't trust men, but then when she meets a man in a relationship, she creates situations that are physical manifestation of her always being hurt or cheated on, or another woman not trusting him. But we are so quick to blame the man in the relationship, but actually what you're attracting, and this is a hard pill to swallow, is you're attracting men based on the self-concept that you have. So you will always get everything and perceive everything through the lens of your self-concept. So this is why it's so powerful to acknowledge that in order to change the external, like we always say, you change the internal, so within, so without. So in order to change the type of relationships that you're attracting to yourself or creating or manifesting, you change your self-concept first, because then you will start to perceive things differently, act differently, and you will wire in a new self-concept for yourself, so your outside reality has no choice but to conform to the version of yourself of who you are and how you think, feel and believe about yourself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we'll give an analogy of why sometimes relationships change. So usually when you meet someone, you're usually feeling quite good about yourself a lot of the time. You might have some things within your self-concept, but you meet this person and you're dating and things are going along and you're feeling quite good in yourself, but what starts to happen is your old belief system and your old thoughts start to creep in based on your outdated programming and your insecurities. So let's give an analogy here. So you start dating someone and everything's going great, but he takes a bit too long to reply to a message. And then your old belief system creeps in from the past experience you've had. Why is he taking so long to text me back? Is there another woman? Oh my god, maybe he's not interested in me anymore. So what you're starting to do now is you're starting to generate a story about who you believe this person is and how love shows up for you. So really it's catching that and knowing that's just false, that's old, that's not true. Because if you really start to look at this, it's based on how you believe about yourself, what thoughts you're having in relation to yourself, not feeling chosen, not feeling a priority, fearing love's going to leave, fearing that love won't last for you, fearing that this person won't accept you for who you are, you're not going to be safe in love. So you have to look at the foundation there. Then you also have to look at the assumptions you're making about this person, because if you start assuming that this person is doing something to you or is going to go away in some way, that's the situation you're going to create for yourself, and that person has no choice but fulfill that role. Because as we say, your life is your movie, so you always want to have a good assumption about you and the beliefs you hold about yourself, and then also in relation to love and the people in your life, and especially in relation to your partner. So I don't know if you want to give an analogy, because Tia's in a lovely, blissful, loving relationship.
So,
and the natural assumptions you hold about your partner.
I have the natural assumption, and it's really important because, like we always say, and what Leah touched upon beautifully, is you build your self-concept, but also you have your natural assumptions. So I know that I'm worthy and I'm chosen, and I create from that standpoint, and that's why I have the loyal, loving relationship that I have. But I also have natural assumptions about my boyfriend. So that he's loyal, loving and affectionate, but also when that voice comes in that is in alignment with my old self-concept, because like we say, we do the shifting as well. I've got to acknowledge them natural assumptions that I am building the fire of, oh, why is he doing this? He may, I'm telling him off in my head. So that has no choice but from a manifestation point of view to conform in my reality. So it's really important to have the natural assumptions that he's loyal, loving, affectionate. My boyfriend worships the ground I walk on. My boyfriend is so funny. Like, all these natural assumptions that I have is the lens that I perceive my relationship out of. So I will get reflections back to me that are based upon them assumptions. So how do you then start to become aware? And it's really recognizing, I think we'll get onto the exercise in a moment, but that naughty voice that comes in. And once you can shine a light on your self-concept, like Leah says, and know the foundations and understand the foundations of your self-concept and where you're creating from, you can really become the observer, like we always say, of the natural assumptions you have. And there's nothing wrong with it, but if you can actually observe the fact that you're telling your partner off in your head, you're saying he's lazy, you're saying he doesn't pick up after himself, you're saying that he always looks at other girls. One, you've got to take responsibility to know that if I was confident and worthy in myself, then that wouldn't be happening. And two, the conversations that I'm having in my head and the natural assumptions I'm making, because we, like we always say, have the power to change that. So if you can really take your power back and recognize that, okay, I'm getting this situation, that's a beautiful reflection. I have the power to change it. So if there's a unfavourable circumstance, I will change it to be my partner's loyal, loving and affectionate, my partner's loyal, loving and affectionate. And my reality has no choice but to conform, because the 3D is malleable.
Yes, exactly. So you get to really decide what roles you assign people in your life, especially your partner. Are you going to give him, the partner, a role of someone who's loving, loyal, affectionate, as Tia said, or are you going to give him the villain role? And are you going to keep having those mental rehearsal and those inner conversations with your partner, so they have no choice to show up and reflect that back to you? So let's look at it this way. How now do we start to change this? So if you've just gone through a breakup, or you'll notice a pattern in your relationship, because I did with myself, I had abandonment wounds for a very long time, and I had to literally get rid of that old self-concept that said I was abandoned, love doesn't last me. And I also had one about not feeling chosen and feeling like I wasn't going to be chosen over someone else and not feeling a priority. So then I've spent time really working on my own self-concept and really rewiring those outdated programs with new beliefs, and how I see myself, my self-concept, and also how I see relationships in general, and then also how I want my partner to show up for me. So what I had to do is I had to do an exercise where I literally just dumped out everything. I literally dumped out what I thought about relationships, what I thought about myself. Things come up like relationships doesn't last for me, you know, men leave, men are not consistent, I'm not a priority. And I really did struggle with having that abandonment wound, because when I was a little girl, my dad left my life. So as a little girl, I thought that there was something wrong with me and that I wasn't wanted anymore and that love doesn't last for me. So that really impacted my relationships and the relationships I've had, until I became aware of it, until I became aware of having this abandonment, that I was now able to change it, which is really freeing, which is really amazing. Now I'm starting to be this woman that knows her worth and their value, and knows that love lasts for her, and knows that she can have a partner that can absolutely love, adore her, choose her, cherish her, and stay in her life. So that's how I see myself now, and that's the self-concept I've created for myself. And like I said, what I did with this exercise is I just wrote out who my old self was. So the old self, like I said, love doesn't last for her, men are inconsistent, men are emotionally unavailable, I'm not a priority, I'm not chosen, maybe there's another woman, whatever it is, just brain dump it out. Like, I saw this growing up, I see this growing up, men show up for me like this. So you write all that old shit out, you get it out, and you say you thank yourself. You thank your old self for getting you this far, and you say, I'm no longer this person anymore. And you go out the garden or wherever you need to go and you burn that shit. Like, and you get rid of it. You get rid of that old story. You say, I'm no longer this person anymore, and I'm now deciding to be the new version of myself, and you write the new story. So what's the new story? So for myself, I had to see myself as someone that's worthy and deserving of the relationship she wants. It's always her first priority. It's always chosen. It's always loved, wanted, always valued, always respected. Whatever words you need to say to yourself to build that new self-concept in relation to the old story that you played, you reverse, you then change it into who this new self is. So you change it into, no, I'm now this. I now see myself as loved, wanted, chosen, valued, good enough. This is how I now see myself. And then in relation to love, I see that my relationships always work out for me, that men have always chose me and committed to me, that love lasts for me, that I'm too special to lose. Like, all these other things you need to say to yourself in relation to love. And then how your partner shows up for you, you know that, oh my god, my partner is just so amazing to me, he treats me so amazingly, he worships the ground I walk on, he's so in love with me. Whatever you need to say to yourself, like, he makes me a priority, like, we're such in a happy, loving, committed relationship, and other things just reflecting around the relationship like that. Build a story that is going to empower you to know that, fuck me, I'm this amazing woman, and of course love works out for me. Of course any man that comes into my life absolutely wants to fucking worship the ground I walk on, because I'm so amazing and I know my worth and value. And this is just simply put as that. I'm very passionate about it because I've had to go through in my own life. And then Tia's also been a beautiful role model because she's always had this natural assumption about having a great story relationship. And I would look at these other women thinking to myself, like, there must be something wrong with me. But it wasn't. It was just my old outdated belief system running the show. Now I've now taken my power back. I run the show. This is my life. This is my movie. I get to decide what woman I am in my life, how relationships show up for me, how my relationships pan out, and how men in my life relate to me, and how my partner shows up for me. So it's just as simple as that.
Yeah, and I think that exercise, Leah just went through the whole process. Do it. It's a simple exercise you can do to rewire your self-concept. And you can do it whether you're single or in a relationship, because your partner is and the things that come up in relationship is a great reflection of what you've got going internally to do with your self-concept. That's the whole point of this video. So to really drill down and sit with yourself, build the awareness and decide who you get to become is the way that you allow the relationship in, is how you keep a healthy, loving, thriving relationship. Always taking the self-responsibility to know that the shit that's coming up so often, obviously disclaimer, like abusive relationships aren't in this nutshell, but the shit that comes up so often is a reflection of us. And when you can take your responsibility for that, you can take your power back to then shift your self-concept, have natural self-assumptions, and transpire that into your reality. Our thoughts create, our feelings create, our beliefs create. Who we are is what creates a reality. You don't get what you want, you get what you are, essentially. So,
and I want to go back to a point you just made about abusive relationships. So if you're watching this in terms of, oh, can I change my abusive relationship around? I would say get the fuck out, because that's 100%. Just based on your old self-concept and you believing that you're not worthy and deserving of having a loving partner. And you'll find once you start to rewire a new self-concept in yourself, you won't want a partner like that. You won't. It's just as simple as that. So what you can start to do with the exercise that we said, start reprogramming a new self-concept, a new story with affirmations, because they're just new thoughts. Whether you want to repeat them to yourself in the mirror, because it's a great thing to do, whether you also record them at night and listen to them in your sleep cycle, and then also have your go-to ones that you need throughout your day to stabilise yourself. That's really an important part of then persisting in your new self-concept, and then you'll start to see that reflection in your outside reality.
Yeah, so just to break it down, simple exercise of brain dump everything that you've got fucking going on, what the naughty voice says when in relationships, and it's a free writing exercise, and then go in and rewire it and do everything that Leah just said with your affirmations, your new thought patterns, mirror work, and that's how it works.
Yep, so that's the new story created, and you persist in that. until that becomes the version of you that you want to be, because you already are this version. You're just allowing yourself to become that version until that's reflected back to you. And if you like this video, please give us a thumb up and subscribe to the channel, as it helps us grow. If you'd like to work with me and see a one-on-one to really help you uncover your blocks in any area of your life and really start to create a new self-concept so you can really rise and reach your true potential and create a life you really love, the links are also in the description box down below, and we will see you in the next video.